Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on a rainy Thursday morning. Again, if you're coming up chillier than it has been, a jacket to ward off a little rain and keep you a little warm as well. What a difference a day makes, as they say. But coming up a little bit later on the show, looking forward to it, Flavian Pratt will join us. He has some nice mounts this weekend. We'll do a little preview, but also a review. We had a couple of monsters out of Telmar last weekend. We'll talk about those as well and more with Flavian Pratt. Kevin Cox, Brooklyn Cowboy, will join us a little bit later on. We'll do some handicapping with Kevin. But as is typical on a Thursday morning, the Daily Racing Forum rotation. This morning, it's our friend Mike Welsch. Mike, good morning.
Yeah, I picked the wrong Thursday to come. Dave gets the sunny ones. I get the rainy ones.
As I say, what a difference a day makes. Give us a little update this morning or earlier this week. Any notable news coming out of training hours leading into Whitney weekend?
No, I mean, the weather's obviously played havoc with training here a couple of days since last weekend. We have had no turf now. We had no turf last Sunday. We'll probably have no turf works tomorrow, too. It's just a shame. And this morning we did get some works in. Luckily, the rain real heavy stuff didn't start coming down till around 9 o'clock. So, but now who knows what tomorrow will be like. So it does throw, a lot of schedules off for a lot of these trainers. And you miss more than one day, it really can set you back. So hopefully this will get out of here sometime this afternoon. They can have the track back in good shape tomorrow, but I'm not sure it's going to save the turf works for us.
And we've mentioned it before, turf works take place across the street at the Oklahoma. They don't work on the turf course over here. They work over at Oklahoma. And turf works are typically Fridays and Sundays. So if they miss one, if they miss tomorrow, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, they will usually go, if they miss Sunday, they will try to go to Monday, although last week that didn't happen because we had so much rain. The course was not even available for Monday. If we miss tomorrow, that'll be the end of that. Sunday will be the next scheduled day. It looks like the forecast for the weekend's pretty good. So what it does, though, is it once you get set back like that, instead of having maybe 70 on Friday and 60, 70 more on Sunday, with Friday gone and no turf works last week, Sunday's going to be very, very hectic out there. And of course, it gets pretty crowded. You get a lot of horses working. They do a good job trying to spread them out to keep them safe and, so the clockers can have a fighting chance too. You don't have too many going at the same time, but that might be a little difficult to orchestrate this Sunday.
And I see, you and Dave Grenig kind of comparing notes, workout notes. I know a lot goes into just kind of defining who is who and who did what. And I'm sure that multiplies significantly on a day when 140 some around.
Yeah, we have three of us doing the turf works for the most part. Sometimes Dave's off chasing down some stories, and it's just Donald and I. But it gets so busy out there some mornings, especially on the main track at 7 o'clock and at 9:45 or 8:45 when they break again. I mean, there's 6 or 7 of us up there, and sometimes it's not enough to catch. There are so many horses working at the same time. You hope to avoid that when you can, but when you get set back by the rain and guys miss a day or two, they all kind of pile in on the same morning. So, it can get pretty crazy out there. And then trying to figure out, like you said, which one of us had which team and which other horse. Chad works, 12 in a row. Todd works 10 in a row. They're all going at the same time. It can get pretty confusing, and it takes a while to sort all that out.
Yeah, as I say, you guys are out here in the morning, and I see you comparing notes still later in the afternoon. But all of that goes into the workout report. I'll let you tout that a little bit as well. We say it every time you're here or Dave is here. BRF.com for great information overall. But the workout reports, particularly up here at Saratoga with the 2-year-olds, can really play into a good handicapping extra bonus.
The reports are getting thicker and thicker, too, because we're getting more and more of these 2-year-old races. And, most of these horses haven't run. They've just been all working. So we try to get at least 3 or 4 on each one. in the report. You get fields with 10, 12 horse fields and all 4 AEs, and you're putting in reports for 15, 16 horses. It can take a long time to do, but we try to give as much information as we can when we can do it. But like I said, we've got 5, I think, maiden special weights on Saturday's card, along with all the great stakes. So between the two, it's a terrific card. It's a pretty big workout report that we're still putting together right now.
Yeah, and so again, you can check that out, drf.com. Highly recommended. Just before we get to some preview, let's do a little review and just get some of your thoughts. Last week, we had a couple of nice 2-year-old performances. Chancellor McPatrick in the Curlin got back on track. I think the lead changed, about 4 or 5 times in the last 30 yards. But Chancellor McPatrick getting back to the winner's circle was fun. And then Sovereignty on Saturday looked great in the Jim Dandy.
Yeah, I got to tip my hat to Bill Mott, tip my hat to Junior Sovereignty. I mean, what a horse. I mean, this was the kind of race you might have figured he was a little vulnerable coming off the big races with the Travers as the next one, as the next goal. Maybe not as honed down for this one, but it didn't matter. I mean, maybe he wasn't, maybe he wasn't. Yeah. I mean, he looked like he was. He certainly, and Junior rode him so confidently, and despite the wide trip, he was just too good again for Baeza and everybody else in there. And he's going to be formidable the rest of the year. And boy, I can't wait till the 3-year-olds come up against the older horses in the Breeders' Cup. That's going to be quite a race, the Breeders' Cup Classic, if everybody stays healthy.
Yeah. Looking forward to it as well. All right, let's do a little preview. This afternoon, the Morrissey is the stake. State breds going 7 furlongs. I pulled up a replay of what you're talking about going back to May 10th in the Nehru. What you're talking about is going to be the number 3 here. I landed on that one. Wesley Ward trainee, Irad Ortiz on board. Bullet Workout coming in. I thought Bank Frenzy was awfully tough as well, coming out of the win in the commentator. What did you see in the Morrissey?
I mean, this was some game effort here. Yeah. Look at this. To Prevail going 6 furlongs. He should have an easier time making the lead going 7. I think he is the speed of the speed. There are some other fast horses in here, but there's 6 furlong speed, and then some of these others are 7 furlong and a mile speed. This is actually 2 races put together in one, because the Morrissey used to be 6. Now it's 7. We had another, I can't remember the name of the stake, that was a mile New York bred stake. They did away with that one. So you got the 6 and the mile. They blended it into one. That's why you've got a 13-horse field. At least you had, or you have as of now. I have not seen the scratches. I'm sure we're going to lose a few of these. But I think what you're talking about, if he could get loose on the lead, who knows what to expect with the sloppy track, but he did win in the slop. I know it was a New York bred race up at Finger Lakes, but he did handle it okay. So I think he is the horse to beat. I know Rudy, very confident with Bank Frenzy. Why wouldn't you be? The horse that never runs a bad race. He is a little concerned about being down on the inside there. I think this horse, he prefer to have outside horses. So the question is, can he get back and get out and around and get in the clear? That will be key for him. The Wine Steward, a big question mark, seemingly out of form right now. And it'll be interesting to see if Mike Maker keeps him in, because he did tell me he did not like the slop at all in his last race of Lone Star. That would lead me to believe he's probably going to take him out and wait another day. He hasn't run against New York breds in a long, long time. And it's just a question of whether he is the same horse now that he was a few months ago, last year, or even a few months ago.
Yeah, and he's one of those nice New York breds that, as you say, went out and faced open company. And yesterday we had one of those step back into stakes company. In the female version of this yesterday, My Main Squeeze looked great.
Well, that was Wine Stewart's stablemate. And she won for fun. And now we'll just see what happens here with the Wine Stewart. Like I said, wouldn't be surprised if he comes out because of the track conditions. It's not going to get any better. It's going to be a sealed and sloppy track today. It's supposed to rain all afternoon.
All right, let's go to Saturday and take a look at the stakes on Whitney Day. Nice stakes program, as you say, some nice main specials as well. But let's start out with the Saratoga Special. I pulled up a replay of Ewing, who looked really good in debut for West Point and Mark Cassie and company. 12-length winner in the debut. Clearly, though, the horse to beat is going to be Obliteration, coming off the 2-for-2 record and the win in the Sanford here back on July 5th. What did you see in the Saratoga Special?
Well, with Ewing, obviously, ran a huge race first time out, but the competition there and the competition here are going to be 2 different things. And being down on the inside also, going to force his hand a little bit. I'm sure Obliteration is not letting him get away at all. It's Obliteration's race to lose off of those two sensational efforts so far. He's going to be odds on, and I'm going to say he's going to keep that record unblemished in here. Unfortunately, Dazzle Dioro, who would have been a huge player in this race as well, suffered a fatal injury here earlier this week working, and just condolences to all the connections there, Tom Amos and the owners as well. It would have made this race so much more interesting if he had been around, but Obliteration certainly the horse to beat at a short price.
Yeah, he could be something special, certainly off what we've seen.
Already seems to be.
And Ewing could be something special as well.
He could be. It'll be interesting to see how that race plays out with Ewing if he breaks and if Obliteration has to chase him, but might not make a difference with Obliteration. He just might be that good.
4-Star Dave also comes up, grade 1 event on the turf on Saturday. It's race number 8 on the card coming up on Saturday, a mile on the grass. I pulled up because some people may not have seen or been aware of because a West Coast runner, but a West Coast star, Johanna, won the St. Gabriel last year at the end of the year. Has been off since then. That's my concern on that one. And I went back and forth with that one in Intellect because of the layoff. But the workouts say that the Southern California horse is coming in okay form. So, again, I went Johans on top.
On his side is the fact, if you look back in his form, he had almost a year off earlier in his form, and he came back and he won a grade 3 stake off that layoff. So that bodes well for that. But obviously this is going to be much tougher company. I thought this race is totally wide open. Cugino's coming off of very, very good work for Shug. I can tell you that. I thought Win for the Money had a compromise trip last time after coming into the Kelso off of very, very sharp work as well. So I look for him to run big in here. Deterministic's training well for Miguel. You can make the case for a lot of them in here. And I haven't really honed in on this race yet to make a selection. But there's a lot of ways to go. But the California Invader does look tough, albeit at maybe a shorter price than you want to take.
A Deterministic coming off that win to close out the Belmont weekend in Manhattan is interesting. And Miguel is just going so well. It's a fun race. Saratoga Derby Invitational, 3-year-olds going a mile and 3/16 on the grass. I pulled up a replay of test score winning the Belmont Derby, but it's named the Belmont Derby, but this year it was up here on July 4th. So a win, a mile and an 8 on the grass here just a few weeks ago. Now a mile and 3/16. The test score looks very good off of that effort. New Century for Brendan Welch, I think could be a player, was well behind test score in this Belmont Derby, but I think is better than that. And Hot as Hell coming in from Europe, having been a Group 1 winner over there, is very intriguing. What did you see in the Saratoga?
Yeah, it's hard to get a real good line on these for me anyway, with the 3-year-old Invaders here, not exactly knowing how they fit in with this company. It makes this race a tough race to settle in on any one or two. Yeah, test score's effort last time was terrific, a great ride. He bobbled at the start, had a little trouble at the gate, and still overcame it. Great job by Manny Franco and Graham Motion there. I'm not sure which way I'm leaning in here. I got to look this race over and do a little more research on the Euro horses before coming up with a pick for this one.
Final Gambit is interesting. They tried the Kentucky Derby, but it's done okay on synthetic and turf. 5th in that Belmont Derby, but I thought Final Gambit for
putting blinkers on, I guess, give him one more shot on the grass, and then if things didn't work out well here, I guess you'll maybe go back to the main track. But an equipment change, you have to respect the connections, you have to respect the shots that you're going to give it one more chance with the blinkers on. I got to go back and look at that July 18th turf work and check and see. I think Donald is the one that reported on that work to see if he had blinkers and how he handled it, but that will be in the report.
Nice. 10th race is the Test Grade 1 event. One of my favorite races every year up here. The 3-year-old fillies going 7. I pulled up a replay of Ragtime winning on July 5th up here. Ragtime's going to be the number 3 horse. I wanted to show this because it was a nice win. Now 2 for 2. Steps into stakes company for Belmont. Clearly the horse to beat, those Coast Sound, coming off the triple-digit buyer win in the victory ride up here, or again earlier in July. Beauty Reigns might be interesting as kind of the other Bill Mott as well. Cash call, I think, for Bob Baffert coming in. Your thoughts on the test?
It's an interesting race. You got a lot of horses shipping in from other places to meet the locals. Obviously, Echo Sound is the horse to beat. That was some effort. This horse has come back off that layoff. She got hurt after that. The only loss she had, I talked to Rusty yesterday. They gave her some time, and she's bigger and better than ever. That was a huge performance last time. You might almost feel too fast, big jump, big buyer number. Will she regress off it? But Rusty's confident. She's training well, and she's got a stablemate in here too that he's also high on, Kilwin, who began a career on the grass, decided to try her on the dirt last time, and earned herself a spot in here with a big effort there. And they're two different styles, so they won't get in each other's way. You're going to see Echo Sound close to the pace, Kilwin coming from off the pace if things get too hot up front. Michael McCarthy, I just spoke to him a little earlier today in California. He's bringing Look Forward back here off a pretty good effort in the Acorn behind La Cara. That was at 1 1/8. Turns back to 7/8. She's 2 for 2 with 7/8, so you can understand perfectly why. He loved her race in the 8 Bell. She had a couple of subpar efforts on her form before these last two, but she's turned it all around now. That last work, 58-3 down at Delmore. He said it was faster than he wanted to go. He wound up getting hooked in with another horse in company the last quarter mile. Made her work faster than he wanted, but he says she's doing extremely well, and he's pretty confident too. So this is a fun race.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 2 or 3 of them on the wire together when this one is all said and done.
Yeah, I agree. As I say, one of my favorite races up here every year, and
very important race too.
Yeah.
For a breeding standpoint for these fillies to the connections, always hoping to get grade 1 with fillies, but the test is a big one on their resume.
And I can't take anything away from the Whitney as a mainstay up here throughout my years coming up here. Certainly, it was one of the big four when you had the 4 Saturdays. This was one of that big 4 grade 1s on a Saturday. The Whitney, $1 million up for grabs, 1 1/8. I pulled up a replay of last year's Travers just because it's fun to watch, and a couple of the performers ran well over the Saratoga Strip. It's going to be number 8 Fierceness, number 1 Torpedo Anna, and number 2 Sierra Leone. Fierceness and Sierra Leone back in the Whitney on Saturday. I thought Skippy Longstockings was intriguing. White Abario, obviously, the Pegasus World Cup winner, 3 starts back. A fun edition of the Whitney. What did you see?
Oh, look, there's a lot of very, very good horses in here, but when it comes down to it, you got to start with Fierceness and Sierra Leone. They've had some great battles. This should be another one. Trip is going to be very important. Obviously, it's hard to knock either. Mindframe, we know, is not going to run unless something happens with Fierceness between now and the early Saturday morning. So for those of you looking at the race, you can disregard Mindframe. White Abario, huge question mark in here. Turned in one of the most impressive Whitney performances in many, many years, winning this 2023. We all know the story from then to now, from Rick Dutrow back to Saffie Joseph. He's had some huge efforts in between. He was a disappointment in the Metropolitan Handicap, but that has a little bit to do with the fact maybe they come out of that chute. It was a sloppy racetrack. His last couple of works have been pretty good. He turned back to that form from the 23 Whitney or from even the 25 Pegasus World Cup. That might be the key here, whether he can fit in with those top 2. But it is Sierra Leone and Fierceness. They are the number 1 and number 2 marquee names in here. No doubt about it. As for Skippy, he is using this race as a prep to try to win his, 3rd or 4th Charlestown Classic.
Oh, okay.
Definitely going there. You would think that he would skip this race to go there, but he ran in this race last year and it worked fine. He went to that race and won, and he's doing well. So the connection said, why not try him again in here? And they're still planning on going to Charlestown in a few weeks.
Again, big card coming up on Saturday. Looking forward to it. And again, I will tout the workout report to give you some handicapping information that maybe other people don't have, drf.com. Mike, as always, appreciate the visit.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Flavian Pratt is in the green room. We'll talk to him about his scheduled mounts this weekend and also a couple of monsters out in Southern California last weekend. All of that right after this. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Thursday morning. And again, a rainy Thursday morning, although it's let up a little bit now. But again, a little bit chilly if you're up. Jacket probably is recommended, but a good day of racing ahead, albeit off the turf today. So keep that in mind. Happy to be joined now as we promote at the top of the show Flavian Pratt, who has a big weekend coming up. Also want to touch on a couple of monsters out in Southern California last weekend. Flavian, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on board and talked to you last year. We had you here, but haven't talked to you since. And it was an incredible Saratoga season. I just pulled up 16 grade ones here at Saratoga, 16 grade ones overall, 13 graded stakes at Saratoga, 82 stakes wins overall last year, 56 graded stakes. But more importantly, it wound up with the 2024 Eclipse Award. And I just have to ask, what does it feel like to go to a night like that at dinner? They call your name, and I can't imagine. All professions don't necessarily award, but a lot of them do. And in sports, that's typical. But when at the end of the year they say, "Yeah, you were the best."
Yeah, no, it was something that it was rewarding. Obviously, it's been a goal of mine to get an Eclipse Award, and it's been a lot of work put into, and obviously a lot of people has giving me opportunity and helped me throughout this journey. So it was very enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, it had to be. And nice celebration that night.
A little bit. My parents came from France,
nice.
So yeah, we had a bit of it. We had a few drinks, but nothing crazy.
Your father, harness trainer, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So, and I've seen pictures of you in the sulky. You ever think of the double header? We'll ride over here and then head over.
No, I mean the goal is to be focused here and do my best here. It's already hard enough, but. Yeah, I just really enjoy it. It's just something that it's in my DNA, and I really appreciate the harness business as well.
So he was a harness guy. What then was your impetus for heading over to become a jockey on the thoroughbred side of things?
Well, always curious about it. Obviously, since a young age, I was physically. It looks like I could be a jockey. I was very small and light. And it hasn't changed. So, it's something that I really, like I said, I was curious and want to do something different. Didn't want to, follow the same step as my dad.
Yeah.
Just want to, get my own path. And, that's why I went to the thoroughbred, and I really like it.
Leading apprentice in France, right?
Yes, correct, yeah.
So you've obviously ridden in Europe. You've ridden it here. Have you ridden in Asia, Australia, Japan, Hong Kong?
Went to Hong Kong I was invited by the Hong Kong Jockey Club for a jockey challenge. So just one night, but I've been to Hong Kong. Yeah, that's about it.
And what was the impetus to come over for a while? You were kind of bouncing back and forth, right? Winters out of San Anita, then you were going back.
Yes. I used to spend winters in California. 2 years with Leonard Powell, because Obviously, first had contact with him. He's French, so it was obviously easier with the language barrier. And then I had a chance to do 2 years as well for Richard Mandela. It was at the time it was just to get experience, see something different. Obviously, in France, races are a bit slower in the winter, so I was trying to take advantage of it and see something different. Yeah.
You mentioned the language. Europeans are better than we are. You all seem to know a couple of languages. So did you have a little English when you came over here, or
not really?
No?
I was unfortunately I wasn't listening in school. I should have, because it would have helped me. But now I've learned, being on the ground and just have no choice, basically.
Yeah. Let's hit on some of what you have coming up over the next few days. And as I say, I want to go back and review last weekend as well, because you are on a couple of nice ones. But coming up, we have Zulu Kingdom in the Hall of Fame tomorrow. And Zulu Kingdom, we're going to watch a replay here going back to the Manila on July 4th, right up here at Saratoga. Nice victory over Capitol Hill. This is a Chad Brown runner. You've been on the last few starts, so a 3-race win streak coming in. Give us some thoughts on Zulu Kingdom and what you're thinking about tomorrow.
Didn't look at the race yet, but I mean, obviously he's a very consistent horse. He always showed up. It seems like probably ground's going to be soft, but he ran well on soft ground in Churchill. So, yeah, I'm very excited to get back on him.
Yeah, relatively lightly raced, but 6 wins and 7 starts. And you've been a major part of that. Also wanted to get some thoughts on Obliteration. You're going to be on board on Saturday in the Saratoga Special. This is a Steve Asmussen runner, 2 for 2, and you were on board for the Stanford victory, and we'll take a look at that Stanford victory here with Obliteration. And this was a big win. Talk a little bit about, you get on a 2-year-old like this in a stakes race, and he runs off and wins by 10. And when do you realize, turning for home, that I have these guys over a barrel?
Yeah, now it seems like his first race was a key race. I think the horse that ran second and third, they came back and ran big races.
Yeah.
So it seems like that race is a key race, and you just repeat this first race, basically broke very well and took the race under control and got the job done from there.
With a horse like that, do you get many instructions? I'm assuming it's just he's going to blast out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
on.
Babies. I mean, obviously it's a short distance. I mean, you'll break as good as you can and go from there.
And listening post and pre-race, when they interview trainers in the paddock and sometimes in the winner's circle, it seems like some trainers are a little more in tune with, let the ride, these guys have ridden a long time, I'd just leave it in their hands. Other trainers seem to want to give some instructions. How does that work out? And I would guess you probably get instructions if there's some quirk you should know about.
Yeah, I mean, I think tactically it's, instruction, it's, the race can go so many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a plan and, it's never as you expect it. But I think it's good to have an idea of how the horse could react to some things. I like to get instruction at least on how the horse could react.
And what kind of studying do you do before the race to kind of get an idea of, what you may expect from the competition?
I like to keep an open mind, but I like to just know, handicap the race, basically. Just know who could be, the horse to beat, or the horse that could, be a threat, and who, in my mind, I'd rather not be around. That's about it.
And I'm guessing also it helps, you're regular on the New York circuit for part of the year and whatnot. I'm guessing it also helps to know tendencies of the other jockeys.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anywhere else. It's always good to know the riders that are around you, and what what you can expect.
Also, in the test, you have Cash Call. You went out to Southern. This horse won in Southern California, and this is one you'll be jumping on for the first time for Bob Baffert. Talk a little bit about that situation. That's one where maybe you try to get some information from the trainer, I would assume.
Yeah, I watch replays, obviously. I mean, I like to watch replays anyway, and get myself an idea of how the horse is. But then you go to the paddock and you kind of talk to the trainer and see if you're on the same page. Sometimes you get an idea and then the trainer is going to tell you otherwise. And so it's good to
So you're watching the replays and you're thinking such and such, and you go up to the trainer and say, I'm thinking such and such, and he says, good idea, but you may want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And also wanted some thoughts, obviously, the Whitney. You're going to be on Sierra Leone. You've been on him now for a series of races. Really talented horse. We're going to watch the Stephen Foster, going to run second to Mindframe. And he's a horse that, we had the 112 buyer win in the Breeders' Cup Classic from last year. So far this year, a third and a second. He's moving in the right direction. What are your thoughts on Sierra Leone? Because he always runs big. He just doesn't always win.
Yes, but like you said, I think he's going into the right direction. I don't think he had much of a run in Fairground. Then he ran a good race in Churchill. I thought it was a good race on a speed favoring track with a slow pace.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some pace Saturday, and it's a spicy race, but. I think he's doing good and he's moving into the right direction.
And give us some thoughts going back to last year in that 112 in the Breeders' Cup Classic, because a lot of people had been on board all year long, and then finally it gets the super breakthrough in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, it was a good relief. Obviously, summer last year was a bit frustrating. He had good runs, just couldn't get the job done, and to finally get the job done in the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's couldn't expect better.
And I, as I said at the top, I wanted to go back and look at a couple of, you went out to Southern California last weekend. You were on a couple of nice horses for Bob Baffert. We'll start things out in the San Diego Nisos. Relatively lightly raced, 5 starts, now 6 starts and 5 wins. Nisos here in the San Diego last week. Talk a little bit about this one, kind of a budding superstar for Bob Baffert.
Yeah, I mean, he was always a high prospect in Bob Baffert's barn. I think at some point he was going to be one of the favorites for the Derby.
Yeah.
Then you had to give him some rest, and he finally came back for Derby Day this year. I thought he ran a great race on a sloppy track. I think he got beat with a head or nose against Mindframe again. So Mindframe's been tough on me this year, but then went back to California, won a good race, and obviously last Saturday was going to turn for a long time. So
it's really been sprinting mostly at a mile race. But a mile and 16th the other day. I'm visually, went well.
It was great. Yeah. It was great. Obviously the field was not as good as when he ran at Churchill, but he did it the proper way, and it's very encouraging for what's next.
And speaking of what's next, I just wanted to also talk about the maiden victory as well on Brant. Again, a Bob Baffert runner last weekend out at Southern California. $3 million purchase for Bob Baffert. Obviously there are high expectations, and he lives up to them here. When in the race did you get a feeling that you were going to get this kind of performance?
Yeah, he was a bit of the talk of the town, right?
Right.
He was everybody expecting to run a big race, and he surely did. He was very straightforward, broke well, and he sat right behind the pace. And I felt in control around the turn. I felt like I was going well in a good rhythm, and yeah, when I asked him to extend himself, he surely did.
By gun runner, it was 5.5. You would think 5.5 for a gun runner, maybe a little short, but I'm sure it looked like you got a feeling he's going to stretch out fine.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, he's by, like you say, by gun runner, and the mare is by tap it, I think. So, I mean, I think distance, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and again, a $3 million runner living up to the expectations. Also, wanted to talk a little bit about, we were talking on the handicapping show earlier about Flightline and just what an incredible career he had. You were on board all 6 of the starts. The last couple of starts, the Pacific Classic, a 126 buyer, the Breeders' Cup Classic, a 121 buyer. Talked to Terry Finley about this horse all the time, had him on the other day. I remember the day they bought him just down the street.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like to be on a horse? I mean, it's kind of the horse of a lifetime situation. What was it like to be on board Flightline throughout the career?
Well, it was just a privilege, I think. Obviously, very grateful that I had a chance to ride him. Yeah, it was just special. I mean, I repeat myself, but I always said that I think Breeders' Cup Day he could win the sprint, the mile, or the classic. So yeah, he was that good. He was just very fast and could run that fast for a mile and a quarter, basically.
Is there a real sense that this horse is different from every other horse I've ridden?
Yes, I mean, he I don't know if because he was running so well, but he felt very intelligent. The way he handled himself.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just felt that way. It felt like he loved attention, and I mean, I don't know. It might sound weird, but with all the camera and such, it felt like he was a star and he knew it. So I mean, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, and he was a star, and as they say, an incredible career. You were on board for each of the 6 starts, and they were all very impressive. Did you know right from the start, the maiden breaker, which he won by 13 lengths, did you realize right then you were on board something?
Well, I had a chance to breathe him in the morning. The first time I breathed him, John Sadler told me, he said, that's the best horse I ever trained. And I mean, if you know him, he's not, particularly high on horses. He'll, never say something like this. So I was interesting, and I was like, okay, well, that's a good start. And yeah, obviously he was training very well going into the race. I mean, so many times you breeze horses, they train outstanding, and when it's time to show up, they don't show up. So I mean, I never get myself too high, but obviously the way he ran his first race, it seems like what he was showing in the morning, it was translate in the afternoon. So it was definitely encouraging at that point.
Before I let you go, I would like to ask jockeys. It's different up here at Saratoga, right? Because there's your day is different. Because I think the whole social aspect adds to a jockey's typical day up here at Saratoga. So talk a little bit about Saratoga, how maybe it's a little bit different, what a typical day up here is for you.
First of all, we ride 5 days a week, so it keeps yourself busy. And very busy in the weekends. You gotta breeze all the babies, and obviously then you get the races, and every weekend's big races. So very competitive meet. I mean, you ride against some of the best rider in the country. So yeah, it's great. It's very like I said, very competitive, and you got to be on your A game. But yeah, I love it, and I think that's what any competitor wants to.
Yeah, as I say, there's a social aspect up here too.
As well, yeah, as well. I mean, I'm not.
Which makes the days a little long. Oh.
I'm not super social, but yeah, it's
Well, just going out to dinner. Yeah. If you walk around town, people, hey, Flavian.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. A little bit. Actually, yesterday I went to the pharmacy and was at the counter paying, and the lady behind me said, "Good luck tomorrow." So yeah, it's fun. People. It feel like the town is very into races and have knowledge. So it's great to see a whole town, just living and breathing horse racing.
Yeah, I say it all the time. What makes this place so special is not just what goes on here, but outside the fence. Because you sit at a restaurant, and the people at the next table are talking about the double-A hit. And, hey, I had Flavian on the winner in the 8th race, and that's what makes Saratoga really special. Flavian, Saratoga special for you certainly last year. Keep it up this weekend. You have some nice horses entered. Certainly wishing you good luck. And again, congratulations on a great year last year. And again, haven't had a chance to talk to you since, but the Eclipse Award, well deserved. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Kevin Cox is in the house. We'll do a little handicapping. Stay tuned. It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your #1 choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in a private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back. Racing across America on a Thursday morning. It has started to rain again. So, as I say, you're going to have to bring some rain gear, a little jacket, because there's also a little nip in the air, certainly comparatively speaking. But they will be racing this afternoon. Excuse me. All the races are off the turf, however. We'll get some ideas in this next segment because we are joined by Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy. Good morning.
You say it started to rain again. Did it ever really stop?
I can't tell in the tent. I thought it did stop briefly. You were out there, so you have a better idea.
Well, it's funny. This thing acts like a receptacle. All I did was walk 8 feet from the trailer, and I tilted my head down. There was a giant puddle here in front of me. But I probably won't even go over to it. It takes me 2 hours to redo an entire column that takes me 6 hours to write on a day like this. It's just not worth it, for me at least, because I'm up here the whole summer.
A lot of people, then that's a whole different scenario. But a lot of people like the rainy days and off the turf races. And there's a segment of the population that kind of thrives on these days.
I used to love it until I started doing this for a living, because you spend the 6 hours on it, you get discouraged and your heart's not really into betting, and then you're not thinking clearly because you're more aggravated than anything else. But people that are up here on vacation, it's a beautiful day for them because they waited all year for this.
And it is a different scenario when you're handicapping day in, day out. Then, as you say, the people who are up here just have a day or they like these kind of days named for them, and they can head up.
I mean, I got up early. I was in my bunny slippers until about 10:20, about 15 minutes ago. And I was already working on today's card again. Then we have Sundays. And by the way, the next card that's being drawn today, believe it or not, will actually be the halfway points of the meet.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary that it's going that fast already. Right. I was listening to your conversation with Anthony earlier, and about the old school TVs, and it brought me back to when I was growing up. My father had this black and white 13-inch Panasonic, and it had a screen that you could take on and off the front of it. The top part of the screen would be a tint of blue, and the bottom part was a tint of green. And you could actually take it on and off. I guess it was meant for if you were watching a movie that had a lot of panoramic scenes outdoors. It was the wildest thing. And we didn't have a real remote control. We had this squeaky box where he made a whistling sound and turned the TV on. My parents were always really far behind in getting things. Last on the block to get cable, last on the block to get the color TV, etc. So I got a real hoot out of the high def talk. I'm like, man, I can go back a little farther than that. But
I remember all of that. When we first got our color TV, which was a big monster. And as Anthony said, we only had one color. We only had one TV, period. And it was the big color TV. It was like a message from heaven when we got a little black and white to put in the kitchen at one point. But I remember that. And you mentioned the screen over. There was one time that they sold a thing where you could put a little plastic on the TV screen, and kids could like put mustaches on the character. But it didn't last too long because it wasn't long before the kids were not using the plastic and they were drawing right on the TV. And so I remember when I was a kid, that was a thing for a brief moment.
For those that are watching me right now and are getting ready to hit the mute button, it wasn't that easy back then. On Long Island, especially, the cable box, the channel, was a box like this, and it was connected with a wire.
That's right.
It was connected with a wire all the way to the friggin' television. So
mine was a slider on the channel.
Mine was, we had ABC. It would flip out in Long Island, and it would actually click. It would actually get off my lawn. I saw you do that earlier.
The first VCR we ever had a manual channel.
I still use my VCR.
Well, I think a lot of people do probably have those tapes. Also want to mention the bankroll. You had a nice hit on Friday.
Right, we're about $8 below the break-even point for the meet, so we're doing all right there. Filmed the two selections for this week last night. One of them's 15-1 morning line. The other one's a little bit more of a sensible selection, and the weather should be good by then.
Yeah. I think the weather tomorrow and into the weekend, I think, is supposed to be very, very nice. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yesterday, it was like that muggy, you're getting drenched kind of day in the humidity, and now people, poor Flavian Pratt was all bundled up there. The only thing missing was a scarf on him. I felt bad for the guy.
180-degree turn, no question about it. All right, let's kick things off and take a look this afternoon. Race number 4. I'm intrigued to see where you go because this was my play of the day. 17,005 conditional claimers going the one-turn mile. I had Spirit of Esther as my dark horse play of the day because I love the class move. I love state part allowance into an open conditional claimer. That's the class move Spirit of Esther is making. You get a turf to dirt move. You get a cutback, so there's bonuses. Carolina Smoke Show, probably the one to beat. Sail Away, interesting. But what did you see in race number 4?
Well, plus on your Spirit of Esther, you're getting Santana, who's just been phenomenal. I think he's got the second highest ROI for the meet behind Irad, who's the world these days.
Yeah, crazy.
I did put Carolina Smoke Show second. I wrote here, take a look at the paddock, the major drop, which happens a lot up here. Everybody wants to get their photo taken.
Yeah.
Did okay on a wet track last time out. But once again, the drop kind of scares me a little bit. Not going to be 4 to 5. Probably going to be 1 to 2, somewhere around there. I landed on Rock Harbor here. The form wasn't as good on a wet track as a fast track. but has hit the board when last to load a couple of starts back. I like horses that are standing in the starting gate for a less amount of time as possible, the least amount of time as possible, especially on a track that can be cuppy and they're sitting in the gate for a little bit of time. Last 2 times going, just draw a line like Anthony alluded to about taking a Sharpie to the page. Draw a line for the most recent. Last 2 times going 2 turns. A win and a placing while earning the 2 best figures to date. So that's kind of a keep it simple, stupid thing right there. Just draw a line for the last. Look at the two turn starts. Say that 2 times fast. And I think you have a decent shot here at 20-1 offering. And it's not because I'm buddies with Jimmy by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that I see a favorite with a little bit of possible issues. And I'm going to go for a price. And my third choice was Freud's Fancy. Closed out the triple the only time went from turf to dirt. And did the same the only time when breaking from the rail. I pay attention to how horses do when breaking from the inside or breaking from the outside because everybody's a little bit different. So 8-4-2.
I was with you on Carolina Smoke Show, and I've said it a bunch of times already at the meet. These drops, they're suspicious. You don't know what to do because the horse might just outclass. And you kind of alluded to it. The rules are a little bit different up here, too, because people shop for a win maybe. So it's hard to know what to do with some of these droppers. And I said this morning, to me, Sail Away makes a drop that is a little more palatable. Goes from 35 to 17, cuts it in half. But 50 to 17 just makes you think a little bit.
And another thing about Smoke Show is this horse, if they kept the horse, is going to be brought back to Kentucky. Look at what they paid to breed the horse or bought the horse for at auction. How much they've earned, less than expenses. And the owner's like, just give one less horse to bring back to Kentucky.
Yeah. 8th race this afternoon, 12-5 claimers. They will go 9 furlongs. I went Master of the Obvious here with Capre on top. And then I like the 1 entry, but I prefer Bold Endeavor off the close-up second last time. And Royal Tryst for me on a drop that, you can go either way with. But I had it 4, the 1 entry, 3, and 7. What did you see?
I also landed on the 4. It's just put a little box around the last 4 running lines. Just oodles of things to like. Like so many Linda Rice runners this summer is dropping in class off the claim. The horse is out of jail. It used to be a 30-day rule of being in jail. Now it's 20. So you get a lot more horses doing that kind of move these days than they used to before. I love the declining mark. I've mentioned this before. More wins than seconds, more seconds than thirds because it shows the grittiness in an animal that they know where the finish line is. Nice mark at today's distance. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think you're going to get 8-5. I think you're going to get a little bit less. Second choice went with the price, Command Performance. Jose Gomez had his second winner on the meet yesterday with limited starters. Loses the blinkers and showed solid improvement the last time he lost the hood. And sometimes if you get a runaway winner, which is possible with Capre, you can get a suck-up horse for second or third at a price. And third choice is another price, Orla. I'm surprised this horse is 20-1 morning line. Up the track last time out with no palpable excuse. But like they say in Bad Santa, they can't all be winners, kid. Just circle those races just before that. 6 times in the money prior to that. So that's the kind of horse that could hit the triple. And you could be like, man, all I had to do was just forgive the last race a little bit. And I'm making exponentially more money than betting Caffrey to win and putting this horse beneath an exactas or triples. So 4, 5, 7 for me in race 8.
Billy Bob Thornton, correct?
What's that?
Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa?
Yes, yes.
I don't think I've ever seen that, but I've seen bits and pieces.
Forget about the sequel. That's like watching Ocean's 12.
Yeah, well, that is often the case. Other than the Godfather sequel, it often happens. The feature today, the Morrissey, 7 furlongs for 3-year-olds and up New York breds. I'm a master of the obvious, what you're talking about for Wesley Ward. Nice workout coming into this, up a little bit of a layoff. A beat Open Company last time. Bank Frenzy seems a player as well. All of that said, I think you could point and make some kind of case for a number of them in here. What did you see in the Morrissey?
I think aside from the big race about 48 hours from now, this is the best race in the meet, most competitive race in the meet. I mean, Bank Frenzy has been in such good form lately, and while favored, only 3-1. So that shows you how competitive this field is. I went with another prize, Cicciobello, which is Italian for roly-poly or chubby or term of affection. Could take it any which way. Been away for quite some time, but was doing good things before sent to the shelf. And I always like when the pre-claim pilot comes back because it tells me that nothing untoward happened when last in action. Nice formulated stat and play here over the last 5 years. Ryan is 7 of 14 with dirt sprinters less than 50 days. No Lasix at 30-1 or less, and a positive ROI in that regards. Second choice will be Bank Frenzy. Obvious inclusion. 18 starts, 9 wins, 5 placings. Won 5 of his last 6. Digs it here, and I can't argue with anybody that's putting this horse in the mix. And my third choice is the Wine Steward. Didn't be set by a few layoff lines, but has some back class and has hit the board 4 or 5 times off a break in the action. So we're going with 6, 2, 5 there in the day's feature.
And I'm with you. When you look at a horse's record, like Bank Frenzy, for instance, 18 starts, 9 wins, 5 seconds. You like to see that progression, more wins than seconds than thirds. And the opposite, the other view of you look at a horse, 18 starts, 2 wins, 9 seconds, and 3/3. It's like that says a horse that just doesn't want to go by in the stretch.
And when you see something rare as a doubling, meaning double the wins and placings and 0 shows, and he's all about trying his best every time.
Yeah, no, I agree. Looking at the record like that kind of shows a little oomph from the horse or the opposite. Thoughts last weekend on Sovereignty?
Try to parse my words carefully here. If they had in-race betting, which I think they do in some markets, you weren't getting 1 to 2 on that horse on the turn. Probably it was going to be about even money, maybe 6 to 5. I think the horse was finished. Baiza's tough.
There was a point where it went back and the whole crowd went, ooh.
Yeah, but Baiza was probably, the toughest competition in the field. What do you really get out of the race is what I'm wondering. I mean, on his home base, wasn't really facing much. Did what he had to do. I thought, yes, visually impressive, but in a strung out field. So it's hard to knock a horse with that kind of mark. But it's kind of curious as to why he was dropping back on the turn there.
I think he just knew he had the best horse, I'm assuming, because he did, like I said, the whole crowd thought, uh-oh, and then like 5 strikes later, he started to go again and got it done. I thought so on Chancellor McCackrick the other day. I thought that race was funky because within the last 30 yards, they went back and forth 4 times.
Right. Well, definitely one of the most exciting races.
Yeah.
And as for the Whitney, I'm a little bit ahead of the game. I assume that was going to be your next question about.
Oh, yeah. You're correct.
That it's a fantastic race. I'm just seeing the Whitney as I actually have no first draft eliminations in the race. And I had written in my column that while you could make a strong case for 5 or 6 horses in the race, the bigger names, you could also make a reason why they won't win. You could find fault with some of the big horses as well. I did go with a big price there because I decided to not look at the race from a speed figure aspect. Look at the pace of the race. I know Chad obviously entered in the Rabbit, but Jimmy's horse, Mama's Gold. Here's one thing I noticed about the race. In Mama's Gold's last 6 starts, she's led at the quarter in all 6 of those starts, winning 2 and placing in 2. The rest of the field combined in the last 6 starts each, it's a total of 53 because one horse only has 5 starts. They've only led a cumulative 6 times in the opening quarter. So I give Mama's Gold a big chance at a big price, especially if Romero doesn't open up 5 or 6 lengths. Just nursing a length and a half, a 2-length lead. I think he has more than enough speed to outbreak the Chad horse. And listen, I'm willing to take a swing rather than take a shorter price big name horse in that race.
It's a swing, 50-1 on the morning line for Mama's
I've hit
Gold.
50-1s before. It's not a swing for me.
I said, generally speaking, it's a big swing.
Right.
Appreciate the thoughts, as always, and wish you good luck on that Whitney I was going to say swing again, but on the Whitney and your Whitney take. And certainly wish you good luck on your bankroll plays coming up this week, because the bankroll's just been making a lot of money for folks. And we're rooting for the team to wind up with some big cash at the end of the meet, and with more than half of the meet left. So far, so good.
And my next appearance here will actually be on Bijou Day, a big day for me and my closest friends up here. August 13th, I believe it will be, which will be a Thursday as well.
Yeah.
So I'll be back here then for that.
All right. Kevin Cox, Brooklyn Cowboy, thanks for the visit.
Roger that.
All right. We're going to wrap things up for Racing Across America on this Thursday morning. Again, rainy Thursday, a little chilly. If you're coming up, jacket, maybe a sweatshirt. Keep that in mind. Turf races off the turf today. Keep that in mind also. Weekend is looking really good, however. But all of that means it's time to wrap it up and remind you that tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Racing Across America. We'll see you then. Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.